Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we're trying Velvet Evil from Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, Alabama. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. Today, I think we've got a fun one. But before we get to it, be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell to be notified of our videos in the future. And you can also check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The links are in the description below. Today, we are caught in a trap. And we can't walk out. Jay, what are we going to be reviewing?
I wish I could do a better Elvis impersonation, but come on. We're going to go to Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, Alabama. They have a delicious brew here called Velvet Evil. It is an old style ale brewed with chocolate, coffee, and raspberries. It comes in at 10.1% and 22 IBUs. So this will be an exciting one. I know I've had it several times. Andy, I think you have as well, maybe a long time.
I remember, back. Yeah, long ago.
Yeah, and I think it's a new one for you. So
it is. Yep.
Why don't we crack it, and then we'll let Andy give us a little more details, because I know he's done some research.
Looked a little bit into things. We got to nerd out here and there.
Yeah, definitely excited to try this one. Again, we've talked in the past about beers that end up in the fridge that we're excited to try. This is one. Not only does the can art catch you, but just the being brewed with chocolate, coffee, and raspberries is seemingly an interesting mix to me. So,
yeah, that color coming out definitely looks like a barrel aged type of beer.
Because it is.
Yeah, it's just right off the bat, you could tell. Yeah, and you can get that bourbon smell out of it.
So Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, Alabama, they typically do an annual release of a beer that they call Unobtainium. And it is kind of the base that they use for this and two or three other variants. But it's a barrel-aged old style ale. And Andy, I know you want to chat some about that. So why don't you take it from that?
Start sipping.
Take a sip. Cheers.
Mates.
I know you can smell that chocolate and raspberries in there.
You can.
Yeah, you definitely can smell it, and you can taste that chocolate.
Yeah,
it's almost like a chocolate. Like a very weak chocolate bourbon, almost that first hint.
You know what it reminds me of, just right off the bat? It reminds me, when you would get those, they come out at Valentine's Day, you got the box of chocolates that has all the different kinds in it. You don't always know what you're about to get. You get one with a little bit of fruit and chocolate in it. That's
that dark chocolate raspberry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, that's what I taste here.
I love it, but the funny thing is I'd heard Straight to Ale was going to stop producing it because all the different variations, it's a lot more difficult for them.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised to see it this last year, but it's still I can still find it on a couple of the shelves around, because old style ales they don't go bad for quite some time.
Yeah, it's uses this one they put pale malts, black malts, crystal malts, and molasses. So you're definitely getting that.
I think you taste the molasses.
Taste.
Yeah. I hadn't made that connection before.
It's aged for 6 months in bourbon barrels.
Yeah, and I noticed they didn't have it listed on the site.
They did not,
Jay, which kind of maybe goes to what you're saying is that they're going to discontinue it.
I mean, they had originally. This is one that they brought back from several years ago. I said it's just a variant or an off slant from what their unobtainium is, which is annually released, typically in the fall, October, November. So they take that batch and they just modify it slightly and brew it with some chocolate and raspberries and coffee. But I was thrilled when I saw that they had brought it back. And like you guys said, the can art is fantastic. The name's fantastic. It's a good one. And well, I was glad to share it with you guys.
Yeah. For those keeping track at home, this has a standard reference method of 24. So, for those, if you want to test it, get your blue violet lights out, shine through after a centimeter, see how it loses its value.
And if you're going, hey, what is the SRM that Andy is referring to? You can definitely check out one of our other videos. I'll put it a card here.
It's Monkey Knot.
Monkey Knot, where we talk about that. So definitely be sure to check that out.
Yeah.
A little plug for that video, which is another good straight to ale beer that we have tried.
Leave it to the folks in Huntsville and the Rocket City to make sure that you get all the engineering statistics and analytics included.
So not sure if y'all knew much about old ales, which I didn't. So I looked up a bit. It's originally describes England's dark malty beers that were more than 5%. And they can take a longer aging process, months to years even, and in either bulk storage or through bottle conditioning. And so you get that a wine-like taste, sweet, chocolate, and this is true to the description, the copper red color, and it can be very dark. So, I mean, it's old ale as it says. Interesting. Also in Australia, old ales are just any dark beer of any strength. So everything's a little different down under.
And I think I had previously read, not looking at this, but that old ale was kind of at one point maybe the main or the predominant beverage that you would find as far as beer in England back in like the 1800s. Like most of the, predominantly most of the beer was old ale, and followed that description that you gave. I could be 100% wrong about that, but it seems when you said that, I seem to remember reading that somewhere that was, back in the 1800s was primarily what they drank. And then over time, other beer came in and other styles, like the porters and whatnot, displaced that a little bit. And now it's very limited in what they have.
Makes sense if you had to, make it in bulk and store it.
Yeah.
It made it easier.
I've kind of seen a little resurgence of some of these old ales, though, in several of the breweries I've been to. I think obviously it depends on storage space and things like that. Seems to be a lot of it around. So, but great info, Andy. Appreciate that.
You know me.
All right. With that, let's go around and review this, rate it. I guess I'll go first, seeing as Andy, maybe you've had it before, maybe you haven't. But
trying to remember.
But I'll jump in there. I like it. I think it's definitely has interesting flavors. Again, coffee, raspberry, chocolate. You can taste some of that in all of it. If you like the random chocolate that you might get out of the Valentine's Day Big Heart box, I think this beer is for you, and so I like that. So I think for me it's 7.5. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. It's very sweet. You definitely taste a heavy beer in this one. Definitely wine like to almost boozy from the barrel aging. I would end my drinking on this alone, or if not, go to a very light Pilsner or Heffa or something like that. It's a lot in one beer, but I would definitely drink it again. I'm going 7.5.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's one that I like, and I agree, Andy. I mean, it's boozy, but it's not over the top, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one that's you've got that alcohol flavor that's gonna be overbearing. It's definitely a dessert, either last beer of the night, or if you're gonna split this and maybe go on to something to close it out, chocolate cake, whatever. I don't know. But I've always really enjoyed this one, and I was thrilled to see that they had brought it back, even if it was temporary for this year. So I'll rate it 8.5. It's a good one for me. I like the chocolate, the raspberry combination. Coffee doesn't matter to me, but the sweet, it's not too sweet to me. It is sweet, but it's not that overpowering. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned the coffee, and we mentioned it here on the show here reviewing this. I don't get the coffee so much, just to kind of push that point a little bit.
It's more in the aroma.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely not in the taste. I definitely, the chocolate and the raspberries come through pretty heavily for me in the taste, but not so much the coffee. But definitely interesting beer, and glad we got to try it.
Is this the international hand sign for aroma? It's like, okay.
I'm going to have to cut that out, aren't I? No! Well, bless my soul. That gives us a 7.8 for the Velvet Evil out of Straight to L Brewing from Huntsville, Alabama. This one's fun. Again, if you are out and about, I would say, around Valentine's Day, and you're looking at the little heart boxes, or you're looking at one of these, pick up one of these. It's much better than the chocolates that you get in those boxes. So with that, definitely appreciate you guys watching us, checking us out. Would love to hear some comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell as well. For Jay, Andy in the attic, who ain't nothing but a hound dog, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.